Well, hi folks, and welcome to this episode of Art Tips with John. I am your host, John Morris, the painter of memories, and welcome to the show that teaches you not only how to build your artistic talent, but also how to build your very own artistic business. Welcome to today's show. Okay folks, welcome to another exciting episode of Art Tips with John. Today we're going to teach you how to paint snow-capped mountains and how to paint mist. Enjoy the show. All sorts of different things here and there and there and here, and these may be mountains that get lost up in the clouds. Okay, I haven't really decided yet. So okay, to do this, nice simple technique. I'm going to try and teach you as much as I can. I'm using just a standard flat brush, and I'll bring it up for you so you can just see what it looks like. There you go. So it's just a standard flat brush. You can get these online, you can get these at any art shop. And this is a size 16. And what I'm going to do, I want you to think about mountain shapes. Okay, so my mountain, well, I've got an outline for a mountain as you saw in the earlier course or in the earlier class. So I'm just going to start and work my way down. Okay. And that's the wonderful thing with art, is that you don't need to worry too much about always being right in terms of, oh well, you know, would there be a mountain there, would there be this, would there be that? Well, maybe there would. You know, there's certain parts of the world that you can go to where there are going to be mountains in the water. You know, Scotland is a prime example of it. I had someone a couple of weeks ago saying that to me, that, oh, that mountain wouldn't be there, that mountain wouldn't be there. And I said, well, do you know which area of the world it's from? I said, and it turned out that I was painting the Isle of Arran, which if you have ever seen the Isle of Arran, I've seen it how many thousands of times since living in Scotland. Granted, it would be down here, but for me in this painting, I'm putting a bigger mountain up, and that's okay to do that, because my waterline may go further away. I haven't decided yet, but for now, that's where we're at. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a basic outline now for this mountain, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to come into a 1/2 inch brush, which is this brush. I'm going to load it up lightly with paint, very lightly, okay, you don't want too much. It'll just save you some time in doing this technique, because the mountains come down too far and to cover up all my nice colours and things. Maybe I'm painting Skull Island, which if you've ever seen Peter Jackson's King Kong, that has some beautiful mountains in it, and that's in the sea as well. So. Okay, and as always, if you're working on these kind of canvases, remember to work around the side as well. Remember, you'll be sick of hearing me say this, but it's to create the illusion of depth and distance, and that is the main thing. Okay. Make sure that brush is as dry as it can be. I'm just going to blend some of these things out here. And okay, I'm just going to create some cloud at the base of the mountain. Now this may be a technique that you need to do a couple of times, maybe once or twice once the mountain has dried. But just as I can show you, I'm just going to do the same thing. My mountain just disappears off into the distance, or wherever I want it to. We'll just put out some basic outlines here. Okay, of where I want my of where I want the mist to be. Now with that, I can come in with a clean, dry 2-inch brush, and again, just fluff. I've got a couple of these on hand, and I often find that they work really well for doing techniques like this. And I'm just fluffing things up. Okay. I'm going to be really creative here. I think I'm going to put some snow on the mountains as well. Why not? I'm going to take the palette knife, and again with very little pressure. If you saw in our mountain course, it will give you a better indication how to do this a little bit better. You don't have to put mountains in your painting, by the way, if you do not want. I probably should have said that earlier on. Got some snow here. Again, Aaron is very much like that. Aaron isn't obviously as big as this mountain. And all I'm doing is going to some white paint, rolling it out nice and flat on the palette. And all I'm doing is cutting a little ridge, it's a tiny, tiny little ridge. And then I'm coming up to the sides. I'm working my way down. And you want to think about your angles here. That's really important, thinking about your angles, because that's what creates the shape of the mountain. Okay. And then we're going to do the same on the opposite side. We're going to roll out some white. I'm going to take some red and some yellow, little bit of black, just to darken it, because this is going to be a shadow colour. Even take a little bit of brown if you want as well. Okay, and we'll see how this looks. I'm just going to do the same technique. Go up to the side and pull it on, down and around. And we can come back in later on and add detail to that. I'm just looking for basic shapes just now. Okay. The base of our mountain now should be dry enough to put the mist on. So with a clean, dry 1/2-inch brush, you can tap into some white, into some yellow ochre, and again, just with the corner of the brush, just work your way on around. It just puts things into the distance a little bit more, which is really what we're looking for. You don't want it to be too close up and to add distraction or anything. You want it to just be fine. Just tap in some white and some yellow again. And again, it's fine if some of that dark colour comes through, because it gives that illusion of things going on, and that's okay. That's what we're after. Okay guys, and what we're going to do, again, I'm just going to add some more mountain shapes up here. You don't, as I say, you don't have to put them in, please do not feel free, you have to put mountains in your paintings. Especially if you've maybe never painted mountains before. I'm just showing you the technique. Yeah, sometimes, obviously if you've never painted mountains before and you haven't taken the beginner's course, it may be a little bit trickier for you. If you've taken the beginner's course, then you'll know obviously a lot on what we're doing here and why we're doing it, of course. And all I'll do is just make some little mountain shapes here and there and here. Okay, I'm just using up the black paint that's on my brush. Paint can be expensive, so it's important not to waste it. Okay, and we'll repeat the same technique, coming in with the small brush, the 1/2 inch, go into some white, go into some black, go into some black paint, or go into some white paint. And you can just bring that down a little bit further. And in doing this technique, it's helping you to think about your shapes of your mountains as to how you want them to flow. And just work out. That's it, all you need to do is just say, think about your shapes. So if you start from this side, a mountain's not just going to go flat, it's going to have grooves and ridges and rocks and peaks, and that's really what I want you to think about in this technique. And some people call these floating mountains. If you put your mist in the right place and work it in the right area, you'll have no problem at all, creating the illusion of distance, which is what we're wanting. Okay. Now we can just come in and do the exact same thing. Maybe the very Narnian mountains, I don't know yet. You can tell your own story with the painting that you do. Okay, and again we're going to some white paint, lay it down flat on the palette knife and scrape a little ridge. You can see that shadowed area, that's a little ridge of the paint. Come up here and work our way down and around. And you really want the paint to break. You try to keep the paint fairly dry. It might be harder working with acrylic because it's a naturally wet paint anyway. But that's really what we're wanting. And it's no pressure here at all. As you can see where I'm holding the palette knife, I'm holding it at the side. I've not got my finger on there. Hold and work your way down. And you can play around with colour as well. Yeah. Different techniques and different styles, different mountain shapes. There we go. Okay, and again we make the shadow colour. This time I'm going to add in some blue, I'm going to add in some purple, a little bit of black, red, a lot of your dark colours, and I'm going to come into some yellow ochre as well. Let's see what that makes. And some brown. Okay. So we've got quite a nice colour combination on here. Up from the top and work down and around. And I'm putting this on now so as it gives the effect of snow in the shadow, or more importantly the rocks in the shadow, and then when that's dry I'm going to come back in and add a shadow colour of snow just to give some different effects and perspective. There we go. And again we're going to start looking And again, we're going to add some mist at the bottom of the mountain. So we come in some white paint and we tap on the palette. Okay, and all we're doing is just making some circle shapes which will just help blend this out into the distance. Okay. When you find that you're running out of white on the brush, make sure just leave it plenty of paint on the brush. There we go. And you just want to create a nice, lovely misted effect, which we're doing here. And then you can, again, just base of your mist and just fluff. Fluff upwards, there we go. And I'm just going to add some more mist over here in this one. Sometimes you just see things in paintings and all of a sudden you get a wild hair. And you just want to paint it in, and there we go. And you see me go way back in the distance, wherever you want it to go, it's entirely up to you. Guys, I hope you're enjoying this class. If there's anything that you want to ask me, as always, please fire away. Questions, thoughts, comments, all those kind of things. We keep the classes short and sweet, so we're not giving you too much on and too much to think about and too much to focus on. And hopefully you can practice the technique over and over again without feeling overwhelmed. Okay, it's all part of your course package and all your fees and everything like that. So guys, in this class, what you've learnt so far, in class 1, you learn how to do the sky, how to do water close up and water at a distance, and you learn how to put the base of the beach together. In this class, we've learned how to bring water close to us, we've learned how to put some waves together, how to add some clouds, how to add mountains, and how to add snowfall on those mountains as well. And I know this is a really quick, almost topic, so what I would encourage you to do is, if you find that you're struggling a little bit, or maybe things are progressing a little bit quicker, just you feel free to, just rewind, as it were, or go back and watch again. And if you have any problems, or if there's anything I can do, please feel free to drop me a message, and I'm here to help. Until next time, take care, God bless, and I'll see you in class.